Let's head over to the Citrus Bowl, which I think, man, what a matchup, dude. South Carolina versus Illinois. Two of the I don't know if I want to. They're both upper half teams, right, in their conference. I mean, Illinois won 9 games, right? This line though is at it's nearly 10. We're gonna pick it at 10. Right? There's 9.5s out there. We're gonna pick it at 10. Okay. I South Carolina's good, man. South Carolina's really good. And I also think not having Pat Bryant, right, for Illinois, I think is a huge deal at that receiver spot. I think Illinois' passing attack, you look at the metrics and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Okay. I thought like when they needed explosive plays, they got them from Pat Bryant, right? Yeah, I think that's kind of a big deal. So, and with South Carolina, right, you got this Beamer ball going on. You got boys bought in. Cal Kennard is the only defensive lineman there that's not playing in this game. You still got, NFL players, Stewart, Sanders, Hemingway. I mean, you got guys there, plus those linebackers that are solid. Uh, I believe you're going to see all the DBs as well.
Sounds
Eman
sounds like no
Worry,
opt-outs. Yeah.
Smith, Kilgore. Yeah, I just think that the South Carolina team is just way more talented than Illinois. I do think, uh, I think Gabe Akis at his ceiling might be one of the best players in this football game that no one's going to talk about. But yeah, I'll take South Carolina Lamb, dude. I really think that Sellers has been so good too, man. It's been so good. And Illinois' defense much improved. I talked about it in the preseason. I'm like, I think Aaron Henry's got guys now that are in there that can run what he wants to run, right? And that's aggressive, press man, right? You have athletic guys on the edge. The only issue was like kind of, you know, stopping the run sometimes. There are issues there, right? But I think that they did enough in the pass game to where they were able to recover from what they did last year, right? Where it was such a letdown after the historic secondary that they had 2 years ago. But yeah, I'm on South Carolina. Sorry, Illinois fans. It is what it is.
Listen, I'll fade you here just on Illinois. I think 10 is a lot in this game here. I'll go South Carolina to win. I'll middle it here. Obviously, kind of boohoo, take the easy way out. But I don't know. I think Illinois is a solid, solid football team. I am concerned about stopping Lenore Sellers, right? And I do like Oscar Attaway, right? So you got no Raheem Sanders. Attaway's a fine, fine football player.
Yep.
Not quite as physically impressive as Raheem Sanders, but he's still a very good football player himself. Illinois is pretty good, right? Again, in terms of like their missed tackle rate. And that's obviously something you have to talk about when you're playing Lenore Sellers, because what he does to a defense is just mind-numbingly, just so annoying. You're trying to get off the field on 3rd and long, and here he is throwing off defensive linemen and running for a first down or hitting a guy streaking wide open. I would argue Illinois' secondary might even be better than South Carolina's. I think the two Scots are really freaking good. I think Matthew Bailey is a damn good football player at safety as well. And Illinois' losses, right? You're looking at Penn State, Oregon on the road, and then Minnesota. At a team at the time, Minnesota was playing really good football. And same Minnesota team that took Penn State down to the wire in Minneapolis not too long ago. You mentioned Pat Bryant missing. That's a big deal. That is. You said it. That's a huge, huge deal. But Altmaier's been very good this year. The key, and it might come back to haunt me here, is when Altmaier is pressured, he is bad. Below 50 grade, right, as a passer, when he is under pressure. So it'll be a tall task. And you're missing your right guard.
Turnovers.
Turnovers.
Which he's been doing a good job, right?
Much better.
But like you said, when he's pressured, that it is an issue.
Exactly. I do think that no Kyle Kennard is kind of a big deal, because he changes your entire picture, what you do offensively at your offensive line, who you're shifting to, who you can shade, who you can chip, all that kind of things that drive you crazy as a quarterback, trying to get those things all lined up and then go make a play. When he's not out there, obviously you still have talent, right? Stewart, Sanders, Hemingway, Tom, you got a bunch of talent there. I'm not going to say it's going to be a huge, huge drop-off, but he's a really good football player. That's not someone or at a position that you can just plug and play and expect that kind of production, right?
I'll partially agree with you. I do think he's a monster. All right, and they're lucky to have him. I mean, was he first team All SEC? He was a game wrecker, particularly in pass rush, right? But also too, you got to think about who he's playing next to as well. I don't
Stewart.
think he hits his ceiling,
Oh,
right? If he's not playing across from Stewart and next to Sanders and Hemingway, right? Like that defensive line as a whole is
yeah.
unbelievable. That's why we absolutely hammered the South Carolina win total over this year. That's why we said that they were, potentially good enough to make the playoffs. Everyone laughed. That's crazy. But here we are talking about South Carolina barely missing out on the college football playoffs.
I am looking forward to seeing this wide receiver room too, right? A couple weeks off, right? How much we talked about this. Bowl practice matters, right? 15 practices can be huge for young kids, sellers especially too, but also like the tight end Joshua Simon. You've got Bennett, you've got Brown, Larvadane, right? It can be reliable as well. How about Nick Harbor, right? We've seen him do some fun things for you at times. Does he get more run? Do they just throw the ball up to him? Because he's bigger and faster than anybody that, you know, Illinois has to offer, right? In this game here, it'll be really interesting. This is a game you talked about at the beginning here. What a great matchup, right? You've got the fourth best team in the Big Ten, probably, and you've got maybe the fourth or fifth best team, or the fifth best team. Illinois versus Indiana, pick your choice. I probably think Indiana beats them, but um, the fourth, fifth best team in both conferences. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. The Citrus Bowl is obviously, a pretty storied and tradition written bowl here, in Orlando on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. So yeah, it's gonna be great. And I'm glad there's not a ton of opt outs either.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like you have opt outs, right? But it's not riddled like some of these other games, like riddled. Plus you're getting your two quarterbacks, right? Which I think is, you know, it's nice. I will say I like bowl season when you get to see quarterbacks that are going to be the starter next year, right, for a team. And we're going to talk about a game, a little bit later that may be exciting for a different reason. But like, there are some games that we're going to be talking about this week that are having quarterbacks start that will not be the starters for next year. So I guess we can be grateful for that in this particular matchup.
Can I ask you this real quick on last point here for me? Um, let's just say hypothetically, the over under is 49.5. Let's say we're staring at all of a sudden it's the second half and you can live bet it and the line is at 61. Who are you favoring in that spot here? Like my point is I'm saying this is going to be in the game is going to be in the high 20s, low 30s, right? Does that mean do you give that
I'll
challenge to
I'll favor
Illinois
South Carolina in that spot probably.
because the pass rushers or because they can run the
Yeah,
football?
because my guess is that Illinois scored on explosive plays, and that would be my
So,
guess, right? And I would think that maybe that's not necessarily replicable. If I know that South Carolina is scoring on offense, then I'm like, okay, yeah, Illinois is in trouble, right? Good luck keeping up, right?
yeah. Also,
I don't know.
this
Is
is
that how you feel, or are you feeling the opposite? Like you like Illinois in a shootout?
I guess how they get there would be important. If they're like moving the chains, right? I think that's a big deal, right? I think it has to be, um, right? But if
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
explosive plays, that's just not sustainable. It could be pretty tough. Also, these two teams are 9-3. Right? This is for 10 wins. That's a big deal for these programs and these schools.
And these
These teams.
coaches,
Okay, let me pull up their over and win totals here because this is.
5.5 and 5.5.
Ugh!
And we were wait. Did this show take the over on both of them? I think this show did actually
So you had the
unanimously.
over. You had the over on. I had the under on South Carolina just because of
Oh,
that schedule. But
I had the over on
also
both.
I had the over on Illinois as well at plus 104. Are you kidding me? But
Yeah, nuts. Come on,
great
let's
game.
go, dude.
Going to be a great game.